Money management seems complicated, right? But what if the most powerful financial habit wasn't about complex budgets or investment strategies, but simply about waiting 24 hours before making a purchase?
That's such an intriguing concept. The idea that patience could be more valuable than financial literacy.
You know what's fascinating? Research shows that nearly 85% of consumer purchases are made on impulse, and that number has skyrocketed since the rise of one click shopping.
Well, that certainly explains why major retailers have invested billions in reducing purchase friction to mere seconds.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Studies show that when people wait just 24 hours before making a non essential purchase, they end up not buying the item about 70% of the time.
Hmm. So we're essentially talking about a psychological hack that could save people thousands of dollars annually.
Exactly. And what makes this rule so powerful is that it doesn't require any special knowledge or tools. It's just about introducing a simple pause into our spending habits.
Let's dig into why most people struggle with saving money, because I think there's more to it than just impulse control.
Oh my goodness, yes. While everyone focuses on income levels, behavioral economists have found that spending patterns are actually a bigger predictor of financial health than how much someone earns.
That really challenges the common belief that you need to make more money to save more money.
And here's what's wild. Studies show that people who make six-figure incomes often have the same financial struggles as those making much less, just on a different scale.
So, what's really driving these spending patterns? Because it seems like something deeper than just lack of willpower.
Well, neuroscience gives us some fascinating insights here. When we're about to make a purchase, our brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in addiction.
That explains why the satisfaction from shopping is so short lived. It's literally a chemical response that fades quickly.
And retailers have gotten incredibly sophisticated at triggering these responses. They use everything from color psychology to artificial scarcity to get us to act fast.
Let's talk about how the 24-hour rule actually breaks this cycle.
So, what happens is really interesting. During that 24-hour waiting period, your brain shifts from emotional processing to rational thinking. The prefrontal cortex, which handles logical decision making, takes over from the limbic system.
That's fascinating from a neurological perspective. You're literally giving your brain time to switch gears.
And here's where the data gets really compelling. People who implement this rule typically report saving between 10 to 15% more money annually without feeling deprived.
You mentioned something about not feeling deprived. I think that's crucial to understand why this works better than strict budgeting.
Right, because you're not telling yourself no, you're just saying not right now. Psychologists have found this small shift in language makes a huge difference in how our brains respond to delayed gratification.
Could you share some specific examples of how this plays out in real life?
Well, let's look at online shopping. The average American makes 157 impulse purchases per year online, spending an average of $5,400 annually on unplanned items.
So, implementing the 24-hour rule could potentially save someone thousands of dollars just from online shopping alone.
Exactly. And when we look at subscription services, people typically underestimate their monthly subscription costs by $133, according to recent studies.
That's a perfect example where taking 24 hours before renewing a subscription could make a huge difference.
And here's something really interesting about subscriptions. 84% of people underestimate how much they spend on them monthly. But when they use the 24-hour rule before renewals, that number drops to just 12%.
These numbers really highlight how our perception of spending differs from reality.
You know what's even more fascinating? The 24-hour rule has been shown to have a compound effect. The longer people practice it, the more naturally they begin to evaluate all their purchases.
That suggests it's actually rewiring our relationship with money over time.
Exactly. And financial psychologists have found that this new relationship with money leads to reduced stress, better sleep, and improved overall well-being.
Let's talk about some practical strategies for implementing this rule in daily life.
One effective approach is creating a want list with dates. Research shows that simply writing down potential purchases reduces the likelihood of making them by 46%.
That's quite a significant reduction from such a simple action.
And here's what's really powerful. After 3 months of using this rule, people report feeling more satisfaction from the purchases they do make because they know they're intentional choices rather than impulse buys.
So we're not just talking about saving money, we're talking about fundamentally changing our relationship with consumption.
Precisely. And in a world where the average person is exposed to over 5,000 advertisements daily, having this kind of psychological buffer becomes increasingly important.
Well, should we wrap up with some key takeaways for our listeners?
Yes. Remember that this rule isn't about never spending money. It's about making sure your purchases align with your actual values and needs, not just momentary impulses.
And it's something anyone can start implementing right now, regardless of their financial situation.
Thank you all for listening, and remember, sometimes the smallest pause can lead to the biggest change in your financial life.
Until next time.
Goodbye, everyone.